Uh,
All right. It's got a weird jaw.
it does. Time to do another fishing report, and as you can tell, this is not quite the Salmon River. This time of the year, we do a kind of a divide and conquer. Rick Smith stays up on the Salmon River, does the steelhead thing, and I'm out in western New York chasing brown trout on the creeks. And I'll start out real quickly on the creeks out here in the west, since where I'm standing. As you can tell, it's dirty. It's big. Yeah, the rains are still leaving a mark. Even today, we're getting some showers. There's a lot of muddy water, dirty water, higher than normal water for this time of the year going on. So basically, all of our water out here on the western and Lake Ontario's tributaries are running higher than normal, and they're muddy. So if you're not comfortable with mud, it's gonna be an issue. There's definitely brown trout in the system, a few salmon in the system, occasionally a rainbow or steelhead in the system, but primarily here we're fishing for brown trout. Right now for flies, hey, any color is good as long as it's chartreuse with this muddy water. It's going to have to basically, unfortunately, there's not too many USDA gauges and everything else, but you're going to have to call, check on water conditions if you're coming out to see if they're conditions that you're going to be comfortable with. I have a feeling that going forward for the next few weeks, we're going to be dealing with higher than normal and dirty than normal water. So that's going to be the gig with it. As for the brown trout, they're starting to move. We're getting into some big males. We're seeing a few of these bigger males. I'm used to the mud, so it doesn't bother me. Kind of cut my teeth on this type of stuff, so I'm used to muddy water. But primarily the males are moving. They're some nice big fish we're finding here and there. So it's a coverage game because there's just not a lot of fish, and because of this higher water, those brown trout, even though they're a lazy migrator, they do move through the system really fast, so they get spread out quick. So it's a coverage game, it's a chartreuse fly game, and it's a hunting game. The fishing pressure obviously is kind of heavy, even despite the conditions, because everybody wants to go and get a whack at a giant brown trout. So that's what's going on here in the west. On the Salmon River, the water flows have finally come down. We have a dam release of 750. Last time I looked at the pine gauge, you're around 1,000, so there's still a fair amount of runoff. I know as doing this report today, Ricky sent me a nice picture of up where he's getting started and it's snowing. So they got some cold weather up there. Hey, it's November, they're going to get snow on the Salmon River. And there again, it's a steelhead game now, and because of the high water flushing a lot of eggs in the system, kind of breaking up a lot of the spawning salmon that were done spawning. There's still some spawning going on with salmon in the upper part of the river, but that's pretty much done now. So it's your steelhead fishing, and because there's not a lot of concentrations of leftover salmon, these steelhead are going to move through the system fast. So here again on the Salmon River, you need to cover a lot of water. So I know Ricky's floating, so I'll get a report later today on the top of the river. But it's going to be, as we already realized, there's fish there. We just got to cover a lot of water, keep the flies moving. We're fishing a whole bunch of mini intruders, probably about 3.5 inches long, various colors, mixing it up. We haven't had enough stable temperatures at the 750 yet to come up with a successful pattern. So you're going to have to do a lot of experimenting with your flies and play around with your depth. Some days that these fish are going to want egg flies, especially upriver. Some days you can probably swing them up with some mini intruders. So it's going to be a coverage game, and it's going to be a fly experimenting game. Down on the Douglas and Salmon Run, the DSR, same thing. Those fish in the DSR are not going to be holding for long. Some of those fish will be through that Douglas and Salmon Run in less than a day. So the more water you cover down in the DSR, the more successful you're going to be. As I tell, this time of year, we just swing through a pool. If we hit a fish, we see a fish roll, we'll retry it again. All I expect to do is get 1 or 2 fish out of a spot, and I'm calling that spot done, fished out, and I'm moving to the next piece of water. So here again, there's 2.5 miles of the DSR, and very often we might cover most of that 2.5 miles in a day. So you got to do a lot of run and gun. You swing through a pool. If you see some life, great, do a second pass. If not, on to the next one. these fish are moving and you want to try to intercept them. Flies down there, pretty much the same. We're not going to mess around with egg flies down there as much as maybe some egg-sucking leeches. But other than that, we're going to be fishing a lot of mini intruders and stuff like that. A lot of shank flies, tube flies, stuff that has a lot of action in it. Even at 750 down there with the runoff, we're fishing our 10-foot, 12-foot sink tips, T11, T14, and adjusting to the pools as we go. But it's going to be a cover the water game on the through the DSR too. So that's basically what's going on in a nutshell with the fishing. I'm readjusting on the creeks here, kind of getting oriented. So with all this high water, it takes a little longer to be able to figure out what's going on with the fish. Ricky's and George are kind of getting reoriented on the salmon, the water dropping, and getting dialed in on the fish moving up there. So going into next week, we should have a little bit better report on exactly what we're doing and how we're doing it. Right now, it's kind of a readjustment with all the water flow fluctuations. We're still waiting on our hats, and I still don't have one of my fly boxes. And we got plenty of boxes, but anyways, I'm hoping that in the next, when things slow down, we have some sort of way where you guys can probably, some sort of e-method, we can get the hats and boxes to you. But that's what's going on. Hope everybody gets out. It's November fishing. Hope to see you on the water. As always, the people that I meet on the water that says stops and says hello, like on the YouTube channel, it's good meeting you. And the new people that's clicked on and subscribed, welcome to the channel. Until then, folks, good fishing and see you on the water.
Hey, Jay.
Yeah?
You forgot something.
What?
Like and subscribe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, thanks. Supposed to do the, yeah, remember to hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon, and it always helps to hit the like button on my stuff. So that like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Thanks for the reminder.
This is Jay at JPEG Guides and Lost River Fishing. We are a year-round fly fishing catch and release guide service. We fish the Lake Ontario tributaries, and then during the spring and the summer we also fish the inland trout streams, classic dry fly fishing. During the heat of the summer, we will do the warm water fishing for bass and pike. If you're interested in any of our outings or have any questions, please feel free to email us at fish@lostriversfishing.com. Hope to hear from you, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact us.